or what's the worst thing that someone's done to you?
Beat me up. It's about the worst it really gets with girls, if anything. Some are crazy and have guns and go shoot. Some don't.
Have you seen anybody die in front of you? Have you seen your friends die?
No.
Have you seen your friends beat
I
up?
saw my friends die, but not in front of me. I came later and they were dead, you know. Know what?
Why do you stay? Aren't you afraid?
I'm afraid, but no, I'm not afraid. It's just I think if God wants me to go, then he'll take me.
But don't you have any control over that? I mean, you're just taking this fatalistic approach to it. I mean, don't you have any control? Can't you get out of it if you wanted to?
I can get out of it, but I'm in already, so why?
So why get out?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? I mean, to save your life, right?
Yeah, I guess. But me, myself, I don't think I'm going to go, so.
All right, Georgina, tell us what a typical initiation is into one of these girl gangs.
Well, it all depends how you grew up and what environment you grew up in, who your friends are. There's different ways of being initiated in a gang. Some get jumped in, some are...
Explain what jumping in means.
Jumping in is when a group of girls get together and initiate somebody to become from a gang. Initiation means, in my part, or my neighborhood, initiation means getting jumped. Hitting up a girl to get initiated into a gang.
Did you hurt them badly?
No, they just have to prove themselves to take a fight and be from a gang. In my case, it wasn't like that. I grew up in the neighborhood. I grew up with my homeboys, and I was considered from the neighborhood. I didn't have to get jumped in.
Is that why you joined this gang? Do you feel like you had no choice but to be in this gang?
Most of my friends I grew up with, we started off from elementary, then junior high, and we grew up in the neighborhood. And we hanged around with older people from my neighborhood, and we just participated in some of the activities, gang activities that they were doing. Now, it was like something to do when there was nothing to do, so it was fun.
But what's the price? I mean, here you're going to jail in September.
Yes, but the reason why I'm going to jail wasn't, I didn't want to go to jail, it was just I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, still hanging around with some of my homeboys. I was hanging around with them. I've been inactive for a while. I was inactive for like 3 years and doing good. I have 2 kids and trying to get a career going for me, going to school.
So you want to get out?
Yes, and it's very hard though, but what got me...
You've been in for 10 years now though,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
How difficult is it to get out at this point?
It's very hard.
Tanya's saying she doesn't feel like she has a choice. I mean, she needs to stay in.
She has a choice.
She has a choice.
She has a choice,
Virginia?
She
has a choice if she really, because what she's looking into is a very short life. She's either going to be killed or she's going to spend the rest of her life in prison.
And you should know.
And
What happened to your 2 boys?
I had 2 sons that were killed because they were involved in drugs. In my situation, I didn't know much about drugs or gangs, so I was not too aware of what's going on. So that's why I'm a concerned parent. I belong to this group where I try to talk to the young people, try to talk to the parents.
I mean, here's a 13-year-old.
Yeah, she's very young to starting, and if she really starts to think that her homeboys and homegirls will stay with her for a while, but once she gets into trouble or she gets killed, she has nothing.
Does that mean anything to you to hear this woman who has had 2 sons die to gang violence? Does it mean anything to you to hear her say this to you?
Yeah, I think about the consequences, and I think, is it true or is it not? But
Marianne, how did you get out?
Well, I didn't have a choice dealing with myself. I did 3 years in prison for the attempted murder that I was involved in. I didn't want to see my life continue to be that way. I started to no longer believe in killing my own people. I'm talking about, Chicanos or Latinos. I didn't want to be involved in that. I think we have enough problems to deal with than with us killing each other. I want to help my people accomplish something in the community. At 13 years old, she doesn't even know why she's in a gang. I know that. I joined at 14. I know it seems like fun and games, but sooner or later, you're going to pay the price.
All right, we want to talk about that when we come back. We also want to talk about whether or not they do have a choice, and about whether or not this is a substitute for a social structure or an identity that these young women may not have at home. We'll deal with those issues when we come right back. Stay with us. Okay. We're back with Tanya and Georgina, who are gang members in Los Angeles. Also with us is Marianne Diaz-Parton, a former gang member who is now a youth counselor, and Virginia Lopez, whose 2 sons were killed in gang violence. Virginia and Marianne, we were talking a little bit before the break about the choice that these and other young women, or men for that matter, have in joining these gangs. What are your views on that? Virginia?
My views are, sometimes they say it's hard to get out, you know, and it is hard, but it's your life that you have to think about. Also your parents and the community. First of all, if they would think of their future, first get an education and get the self-respect, not only for themselves, but the family and the community, because you are the future. They are the future.
Marianne?
Well, I believe, I mean, at Tanya's age, I mean, it's the easiest time to turn around. You can't wait till you go to prison and come out and think you're going to make something out of yourself.
So you think she does have a choice? She can get out?
I know she has a choice, and I'm going to do everything I can. I know Miss Lopez will do everything she can to give her those choices. See, the problem is we don't have enough choices for these kids anymore. What we do is we cut back park and rec, we cut back our teachers, we cut back everything that helps these kids, and we expect them to go on the straight and narrow.
And is that why Georgina stayed in for 10 years?
I think there's a possibility that might be true.
Georgina?
Yes, I think so.
Is it because you feel like you had nowhere else to go, nowhere else to belong?
Well, yes, that's part of it. Because if there would have been some activity, some type of counseling.
And is it because everybody else is kind of doing it, Tanya? Is that all your friends are in gangs? Is that it?
No, it's not just that. It's just, you know, I used to live in the neighborhood, and I grew up around everybody, so why not?
I have a question. You refer to God, and I notice you wear a cross around your neck, but you go around hurting people intentionally. How do those two connect?
Well, I really can't say. I don't know. It's just, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't.
But if you don't do it, then it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, that's true, but the people I'm with do it anyways.
If they all jumped off of a bridge, would you?
No, because
you have a mind of your own.
Yeah, I do.
So you can say no.
Well, I can almost guarantee that no one here can cast a stone in this audience. I can guarantee that. I'm sure you've made some mistakes in your life, right?
No.
I'm sure you've made no mistakes in your life. Well, let me go to your church or something.
Well, nothing,
because
I'm sure
you've
intentionally hurt someone else. I make that a
well,
point.
You may not intentionally do it, but you got to understand. Maybe the way you grew up was different than the way Tanya's growing up right now, okay?
Well, if she wears a cross around her neck, then she has to have some faith.
Maybe she's Catholic. I
like it. Maybe if I grew up in the surroundings that you were in, I would be different.
I grew up here in the city also.
Yeah, but can we blame this on our surroundings? Can we blame it on their environment?
I think we can. We can blame some of it on it. Just like, okay, if some of us had the choice to go to college, okay, you will pay millions of dollars to send a kid to prison, but won't send him to college. Okay, there's a difference. You will spend millions of dollars to bomb Iran, but you won't put it in your community. So to me, yeah, your environment has something to do with it.
Yeah. This is for Tanya. I was just wondering, what do your parents and your family feel about all of this? I mean, do they support you? Do they know about it? What are their feelings?
Would you support your kid if they were in gangs?
Can't they help you? Can't you turn to them for some kind of help?
Even it's something you don't understand. You know, if I want to be in a gang, nobody can stop me. Okay.
But that's what your family is there for support. I know that all teenagers don't have a really good relationship with their family.
You know, my mom loves me. She says, you know, I really wish you wouldn't do this, but you know, it can't stop me.
Well, why, Tanya? I think we're having a hard time understanding why that can't stop you. Or do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy going out and beating up on other people?
Sometimes I do.
Why?
Because, I don't know, because I like it.
What now, Sid?
You need to, I can't believe you're 13 years old and you're out in gangs and your parents have no control over you.
Yeah, they have control, you know,
well,
but
they can't have control. You can't sit there and say, I don't know where you came from or how you grew up. But they can't have control over you if you can sit there and say, yes, they have control over me, but I'm in a gang and I think I like it, yeah, because it's the thing to do. I can't believe you're 13. You don't even know what life is about.
Is my mom supposed to follow me wherever I go and stop me from doing the things I do?
Then your mom's not doing a very good job. I'm sorry.
You can't tell me what my mom does and don't.
Excuse me, before she goes on, okay, I really feel sorry for you if you believe that nothing's going to ever happen to your children and they may make the wrong decisions. There are plenty of wealthy people who their kids are on drugs, plenty of people dying of AIDS right now. We know the choices, but they're still dying. So you can't tell me you can control everything your child does. Okay, but you can give them the information and hope they go the right way. But if she makes a choice to join a gang, are we supposed to blame you if you were her parent?
It's your question.
At 13 years old, see, you've been to LA. Okay, live in the middle of a gang neighborhood and see how many choices you got. Okay, if your daughter wants to walk the street, she may have to join a gang to go to that school. Venice High School is like 50% gang members. Okay, now your daughter is going to walk through there and not try to defend herself. She just chooses the gang. It's a wrong choice. I'm saying, I admit it, it's a wrong choice. But for a 13-year-old kid who wants to be popular, wants to be noticed, how many of you people hung around who were in the 60s or whatever and got high just because you wanted to be cool?